Oh, I'm starting it.
Genetically modified organisms, agribusiness, or human survival. Food. All of mankind has one thing in common. We all eat food. Do we stop and think about where our food comes from, or in the grocery store? Probably not. It all starts with seeds. In the 1970s, Monsanto, a company which calls itself the farmer's friend, developed a new weed killer and called it Roundup. Unfortunately, Roundup also killed the crops, so they developed a new seed that would be Roundup resistant. Now crops could be grown unencumbered by weeds prolifically and feed the whole world, and it was just a wonderful thing. The crops, one of the unexpected benefits to this new seeds were that they were rodent and pest resistant. The mice wouldn't get into them, and it was great. Wait a minute. The mice wouldn't even get into them? They wouldn't eat them? I wonder why. Is it that they didn't recognize them as food anymore? 97% of the crops grown at the turn of the century, the 20th century, are now extinct due to genetic modification by Monsanto. In 30 other countries around the world, including Australia, Japan, and all of the countries in the European Union, there are significant restrictions and outright bans against the use of genetically modified seeds. They're not considered to be proven safe. There hasn't been enough research done. A shipment of genetically modified corn from the United States was rejected by China just last month. Proponents of GMOs maintain that the human body can't tell the difference between a genetically modified food or a natural food because the genetic modifications come from other foods. They did 90 days worth of studies to research whether or not they would be safe and decided they would be. And that just isn't long enough to monitor any long-term effects. And the fact that the modification is through other food sources and not chemicals, they were able to circumvent the research requirements from the FDA. Soybeans and corn are the two most widely grown crops that are GMOs. Cotton and rapeseed, which is used for canola oil, and potatoes are a close second. 74% of the GM crops are modified for herbicide tolerance, 19% were modified for insect pest resistance, and 7% were modified for both. Anybody who can read a label can see that corn and soy especially are found in all the processed foods on the shelves in the supermarket. These genetically enhanced products appear in about 70% of all American processed foods. Monsanto controls 90% of all genetically engineered seeds. In other words, Monsanto controls and owns patents on most of the American food supply. November 5th, 2010, Huffington Post headline: Monsanto's GMO corn linked to organ failure study reveals. In a study released by the International Journal of Biological Sciences, analyzing the effects of genetically modified foods on mammalian health, researchers found that agricultural giant Monsanto's GM corn is linked to organ failure in rats. The Environmental Commons is an organization which was established to be a watchdog on issues that affect the environment and human beings. They believe that genetic modification and engineering constrict farmer seed and variety privileges, confer private ownership of otherwise commonly held life forms to a private company. In other words, Monsanto owns the seeds, and when the farmer plants the seeds, and traditionally they harvest the seeds and plant those seeds next year, that violates the patent that they hold, and they can be prosecuted for that. It also creates unanticipated environmental effects, threatens human health, and suppresses the development and integrity of less intensive and more sustainable farming systems. Also causes damage to local farming economies. Environmental Commons believes a community's food policies should be determined by public support and local policymakers, not by agribusiness lobbyists in the back rooms of the state or federal legislatures. The most contaminated foods in our food supply are those highly processed foods, such as mixes, boxed convenient foods, as well as much of the food in fast food restaurants. Michael Pollan, author of several books on food, calls these edible food-like substances. He doesn't even count them as food. The contamination, particularly of high fructose corn syrup, has contributed greatly to the obesity problem in America today. The simplest way to avoid this food contamination is to follow the advice of Michael Pollan in his book Food Rules. When you read labels, first, avoid food products that contain more than 5 ingredients. Second, avoid food products containing ingredients that no ordinary human would keep in his pantry. Don't eat anything that your grandmother wouldn't recognize as food. Also, when you can, buy fresh, buy local. While organic certification can be very difficult to obtain, most small growers who sell things along the roadside and at the farmer's market grow GMO-free, safe food. They just can't get the certification. The best policy is to try to talk to the farmer himself and see how he grows his food. There's also a sticker on all the fruit you buy in the grocery store. It's called a PLU sticker. If it has 4 numbers, it means it's commercially grown. If it has 5 numbers, if the number begins with a 9, that means it's organic. If it begins with an 8, it's a GMO. There are also several organizations who can keep you apprised of the legislation and other news regarding GMOs. They also have lists of the companies who have made a commitment to sell only GMO-free products. The organization I like best is called the Non-GMO Project. They have a wonderful website called, it's www.nongmoproject.org. They have a Facebook page that's updated 2 or 3 times a day. And they even have an iPod app that lists all the companies that have made this commitment to not sell GMO products, so you can have it with you all the time whenever you're shopping. If we all make a commitment to purchase only non-GMO foods, we can send a clear message to Monsanto, to agribusiness, and to the government that we want to preserve food the way nature intended it for our children and grandchildren. Just say no to GMO. Thank you.